I'm Tom Vasel.
And I'm Melody.
And today we're looking at Tavarua. This is a game with a theme that's very rarely used in gaming. And that is because it's about surfing. This is a game from Cody Miller. And probably most people know him because he designed Zaya, which is a big, giant space game about exploring. That's not what this one is about at all. This one's a much smaller style game, although the rulebook is pretty long and lengthy. But it's about surfing. Now, have you ever surfed?
No.
I have not either. Do you know anything about surfing?
A little.
I think
like
90% of what I know about surfing, I've learned from this game. I've seen pictures of people surfing, but I don't know a lot of the terms. But now we know more of the terms because we played this.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yep.
Let's take a look. In this game, players are going to be surfing. They're going to be paddling out here on their board, and then they're going to be riding waves back in the shore. Now, when they paddle, they can take a short board or a long board, and they're going to have different sides here to show which board that they're carrying. You're going to get a score with each of these. So when you score, you're going to look at the total score that you've scored on a board. So let's say it's 11 points here. Then I would put the token of that board here. I got a 5.0 on that board. At the end of the game, whoever has the longest short board scored and whoever has the longest long board score are the only possible winners. They will then compare the score of the other board, long board and short board, and whoever has the highest is the winner. Now this game all revolves around players playing cards. And so players have different cards that they're going to be able to play here. Some cards, the ones that have 4 on them, are not allowed to be played on the long board. The rest of the cards can be played on either board. And you're going to be playing these cards to do different actions. So really, if you look at this, this is the long board here. The long board has more area for you to balance because if you go off either end, you wipe out. But it has fewer cards that can be played on it. The long board also has possibility for you to hang 10 and get bonus points that way. The short board is easier to fall off, but all the cards can be played on it. So each player is going to decide which board they're going to have, and then simultaneously, players are going to be taking actions. Now, at the beginning of each round, these waves come in. So the bottom wave comes down, a new wave comes at the top, and you roll a die. Each die shows where that wave breaks. So this wave here is breaking at the 4 right now. This wave here is not going to break till it gets to the 2. This 5 wave is broken, and this 3 wave is broken. Neither of these is broken. You can only catch a broken wave. So on a turn, players are going to play cards next to their board, and many times they're going to place them here, which is paddle out. You're simply going to move that many spaces out, or paddle in, moving that many spaces back, or waiting, where you just discard a card and stay in the same space that you're in, or catch a wave. When you catch a wave, and you're at a wave that's broken, so let's say I'm here, this is the perfect wave to catch, I can get onto the wave here, and stand up, and when I look at this one, this shows that I move 1 forward on my board. So I would take my board, put my balance token on it, and move 1 forward. Now, players are going to be playing a card as they ride in, and each time they're going to play a card, that's how far they'll move on the board in that direction. And these cards are going to stay in front of you because these cards are going to become your score for riding that board in. However, there's another deck here, and one of these cards is turned over each turn. The back of the card shows you how far you're going to move on the board and what possible direction. So this one's going to move you 0 to 1 in either direction. When it's revealed, it moves you 1 this way. This one here is going to move 2 to 3 in this direction. You don't know, you know what direction. So hopefully when you play your card, you're playing a card that goes in the other direction, so that when we find that this one moves you 2, you still stay on the board. There's also barrel rolls, that's these, they show 1 to 3. If you're on the short board, you are trying to not match it. If you're on a long board, you are trying to match the number that's there, which can get you bonus points, or you can fall off. If you ever fall off, you basically go here. Your score is simply, your wipeout score is simply the highest card that you've played. So maybe my highest card is a 1, that's not very good. Then my score there would be 1 point. But if you stay on the board, you can also get off anytime you want to, basically pull out of the wave. And if you do so, your score is simply all these cards put together. If you make it to shore, you get a bonus of 2 points if you can ride the wave all the way to shore. If you catch a perfect wave, which means you catch the wave at its number, you'll get a bonus of 1 point. You can play these tokens to give yourself bonus points. These tokens here are used for various things. They are going to allow you, when you play them with a card, you can add or subtract from the number on the card to show how far you can get. These are stoke tokens, by the way. You can also use stoke tokens at the beginning of a turn to get special cards that you can play. Here I can discard this one to get 3 stoke tokens. Here I can discard, and choose any number for the die result when a new wave comes. I can discard, immediately paste my surfer anywhere in the channel because I have a jet ski. I can discard, and immediately look through the player discard pile and take up the 3 cards, then discard down to 5 total. So these cards are going to allow you to maneuver better as you go by. If you do catch the barrel roll and don't fall off, you'll get a bonus of 5 points. So you can get different various points. And when you get to shore, you're simply going to record the score for that one. And you can have 2 scores for each of your boards, but only your highest score is going to count. This will continue until players have gone through the deck of wave cards. At that point, the game is over, and I've already shown you how that you score. And one person's going to be the surfing champion. All right, well, we'll start by talking about how the game looks, the artwork and the components. What do you think about that?
I thought the components were really nice. They looked like it was like an actual wave kind of thing. It was a nice looking game.
I think the game looks incredible, honestly. I like the fact that each person has a different, the boards look different, the little wooden pieces, the little surfboards have a different look to them, the designs, the waves, the ocean, the board is double-sided just for different wave effects. It just looks really good. It's a very pretty game, and when you stop by and you look at it, you're like, oh, that looks like a lot of fun. Is the game difficult to play?
I didn't find it difficult. I caught on to this game pretty quickly. I was like, oh, so this is easy. You just go up, you grab a wave, and you try to make sure that you stay in the middle of the board. So, but...
Hey, no.
He did not catch on very quickly.
Yeah, I really didn't catch on quickly in my first game. I think the rule book is too written like an ASL, Advanced Squad Leader rule book. It's just too complex, I think. The game itself is very simple. Also, I kept getting confused because it looked to me like the longboard was going backwards, and I guess apparently the pointy end is in the back of a longboard. I know that's odd, but I needed the orientation meant a lot to me because the way each wave was coming. And then just different things like, okay, short wave, you don't want to match the barrel roll. I mean, longboard, you do want to match the barrel roll. How do barrel rolls work? When do you get bonus points? That stuff's not really complex. I just kind of had a stumbling block on it. But the game is pretty simple. You're just playing cards from your hand. And you're right, once you get on the board, there's a bit of a balancing act there. And there's a bit of push your luck.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know that it's going to move this far. What if I go all the way? What if I can make, because if you can land on the front of the board, especially on a longboard, you get to do that hang 10, which is bonus points. Mm-hmm. But trying to do that is dangerous because you could easily wipe out.
Yeah.
Did you like that aspect where you're trying to push your luck?
Yeah, I thought it was fun until the barrel roll.
You don't like the barrel rolls?
No.
Really, the barrel roll, you're just guessing?
And it was not fun to have it at the end of the game, so. Okay,
and that's one of the criticisms I think we should make of the game, is that the game itself kind of peters out like a wave. But as you get to the end, if you realize, oh, you know what, there's only so many cards left. I'm at the shore. I haven't even paddled out and caught a wave. I feel like you just kind of sit around and wait. You can also even see already, guess what? I can't win. And I don't know if I like that much. I wish there was a kind of a more exciting ending to it. Or someone's about to hit the shore, and because they didn't count, how many cards are left, oh, I'm going to not make it to shore by 1 or 2 cards.
Yeah.
But again, no, that's not a huge criticism. The game itself is really fun, just going out to me and catching the waves and trying to balance and come in. My biggest criticism of the game is the scoring. I'm not sure I like the scoring. Do you?
No.
It's just kind of weird because let's say Melody gets an 8 on both of her scores, but I get a 9 on my longboard and Susan gets a 9 on her short board. Melody can't win, even if I got a 9 and a 1 and Susan got a 9 and a 2. If Melody got an 8 and an 8, which in my opinion is better than a 9 and a 2, she can't win. And there's probably reasons for that gaming-wise, but it seems odd thematically. It's like, oh, you're great on the short board. Yeah, your long board's terrible. But you know what? You're the grand prize winner! What do you think about this?
I didn't like it because, like, if you do well, if you do well on like both of them, it's kind of hard to go over like your point limit, especially since the game's a lot shorter than it seems.
That's true.
So, like, okay, I just failed, but also at the same time did well. But like,
I'm not sure why the score isn't just add your two scores together and whoever's highest score wins. Although I guess it's an easy fix to do. And again, I don't know the maths behind the game, so maybe there's a reasoning for that. It just doesn't always feel right. Now, if someone does a 10 on the one board and a 7 on the other, I feel like they deserve to win.
Yeah.
But if you do a 10 and you just concentrate and get the super high score on the one board, and then your other board just is good enough to beat the other person's board, I don't know if I like that as much. But overall, what'd you think?
I really liked the game. Like, the theme was really strong in the game. You actually felt like you were trying to balance on a surfboard while surfing, and I just thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the theme almost is a little too. I mean, I'm like, the game kind of is like, hey, stoke tokens and longboard and washout. I'm like, oh, I don't know what any of this stuff means.
I didn't, but I thought it was fun.
But yeah, they explain it right, and it's not too bad. But it definitely has a love for the sport that it's trying to emulate, and the theme, I think, is pretty strong. This is the best surfing game there is. Of course, I've played 2. So there's that. But this is certainly a departure from Zaya. Nothing like a space game going around and blowing things up. Have you played Zaya?
Maybe.
Definitely you've seen it.
Yeah.
But this was a much more smaller contained game, and I think people are going to like it. Oh, one last thing. It goes up to 6 players. Highly recommend not playing 6 players. When there's multiple people trying to get on the same board, if you're playing with 4 or less, only one person can be on. And if you're playing with 5 or 6, 2 people, which means there's a chance that people will knock each other off and not get on, and that can be kind of frustrating. It's just a little too crowded, I think, with that many. Yeah. There's also solo variants and such, which I did not play. So overall, what's your rating here of Tavarua?
I'd give it a 7.5.
A 7.5? I'm going to give it a 6.5. This consistently you rate higher than me. It's a solid theme, beautiful components, and fun. There you go.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.